Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back to Hearthstone. So we need to get 50 more mage cards played. And we need to play 50 priest cards. And so let's keep it interesting and we'll move on to our priest deck. I have a wild priest deck which I think is mostly the deck that I was doing moderately well with. Although looking at my statistics right now, if that is actually the right deck I'm looking at, it's only doing 39% victory. Somebody on my Twitter feed, I don't know how I ended up following, probably through some contest or something. So many giveaways that probably never deliver to anybody. Have you click a button to follow somebody on Twitter, and then I end up muting most of them because they post too much and what they're posting is uninteresting to me. But they were specifically targeting people who had skipped the wild heroic tavern things. So they were playing the heroic tavern brawl for $10 a run, so other people didn't have to, and they were actually a good enough player with a good enough set of cards that, well, actually, I guess that just comes down to being a good enough player because it gives you random cards that they could win there. And I didn't watch a lot of it because that's a bad implementation of my time, but it seemed like he got level 6 the one time for the one run I was watching. I'm gonna go ahead and hurt both of these guys. So, that is certainly one way to do it. I imagine if you can average on the Heroic Tavern Brawl 6 victories out of 12, you're probably getting close, if not totally enough. Let's see. Technically, I'm supposed to be playing these cards, not winning, but I also need to get victories, so both of those are important. Let's see.
Blessed be this funnel cake.
Whenever you cast a spell,
face the light.
So are we going for face-to-face damage? I don't think so. I don't think that's the right move. Blizzard was raising the price of the card packs in Hearthstone, while they also are going to ban players who are farming XP in custom Overwatch games. So I'm not close enough to Overwatch. I don't play Overwatch, so I don't know exactly what that is. I don't know if this is what would seem to be a kind of fair turn of events where you can play a custom game with your friends and get more XP that's slightly more XP than everybody else, or if it was something that was just like totally broken. Inherently, I think this is kind of unfair, Blizzard. It feels like it would be the equivalent if they said you can no longer earn gold through quests or any victories or anything. That there was just no way to grind it out, or if somebody found a really good way to grind it out, they came back and said, well, that's not an acceptable way to grind out XP. It just seems inherently greedy. But maybe it's not. Maybe they found some custom games where you can go AFK and leave your computer on 24/7, and when you come back the next day, you have like 20 20 packs of things. Maybe you are getting what is the equivalent of 20, 50, $100 every single day worth of things. That being said, how can you really blame people for that when you know even as little as I know about Overwatch? Because when you open those treasure chests, you can get repeats, you can get garbage, and there's really no improvement or help to eventually give you the thing that you really want, which is probably just a skin or something. It's all in-game elements, and like it's so rigged to force people to let them win. It's so rigged to make people spend money, not let them win. That I'm confused because the guy conceded. That I don't think they should ban them. I think they should let people farm. If it was the same thing here, ideally, I guess Hearthstone already has banned people from making custom games because I can't challenge my other account and play them and finish quests, except for on the weeks when they specifically say you can. So they've already controlled that. But if they came back and said you can't, we're not doing quests anymore. You can only earn like 10 gold for every 3 victories. That kind of is the beginning of the end. I would drain out my account buying card packs for the next expansion, but after that I would just say, look, there's no way to get cards here now, so it's because I can't get that continuous amount of cards in Hearthstone, then I wouldn't be able to stay up to date and at least try to counter the fact that cards are getting banned to Wild. So I would just have to give up, and that would be the end of the Hearthstone series. And I don't even know if I'm forced to end the Hearthstone series, and it's not any like anything I just decide and work up to. If I'm just one day said forced, like if my account was banned for something else tomorrow and it's just done, I just put something else in the time slot or put nothing in the time slot and just move on, because there's nothing else I could really do. Moving on, let's see. Cartoon Network is, and I assume this is also in part Adult Swim games, that they, in the end, Cartoon Network and Adult Swims are just subsidiaries of Turner Classic Movies, or is it just Turner Entertainment? I wonder.
Blessed be this funnel cake.
So it doesn't really matter, but Cartoon Network is starting to look a little bit like THQ 2.0. And THQ is a very interesting video game company because they heavily were focused on making kids games, and because they were heavily focused on making kids games, a lot of them weren't that good. And
just a pinch of vigor.
I don't want that. Let's go and play this. And so a lot of the Nickelodeon properties from the 80s and 90s were turned into THQ style games. THQ not really known too much for any new titles, except THQ did have a subsidiary called Vigil Games, and in Vigil Games they made Darksiders, and that's kind of the only one. Let's see, do I want to do anything else? I don't know. And eventually THQ, they were very well known for overspending as far as having release shows. They like THQ was one of the big E3 people that there was the in the old days there would be the Sony, the Microsoft, and the Nintendo conferences, and then it usually was THQ, maybe Ubisoft, maybe EA. So they spent a lot of money. They spent more money than they honestly could have afforded to, should have, and they eventually got ruined by investing heavily in a I think it's called the U-Draw tablet, which was supposed to be this draw tablet for the Wii or the Wii U. That was gonna be this extra accessory everybody was gonna buy for some reason, and because they thought everybody was gonna buy it, they were gonna release multiple games on it, and just a heavy, expensive piece of hardware that they invested heavily into, and they ran out of money at that point. And that's kind of the story in a nutshell of THQ as far as I understand it. But now Cartoon Network feels like it's trying to be THQ 2.0 with a little bit smarter moves by releasing games based on their own properties. So they're coming out with a Steven Universe game called Save the Light. Steven Universe is kind of a weird cartoon because it's about this kid that turns into a girl when they become a superhero, and I think that's a big part of its appeal to parents who want to be more liberal parents, I suppose, that want seemingly even slightly want their kids to be transgendered, even though the statistics I've heard, the number of transgendered people is down to like 3% of the entire U.S. population. So, but I mean, I'm sure other kids could appreciate it, but I may sound like an old fogey. Back in my day, I don't think I would have wanted to watch a show like that, because it would have just confused me when I was very young. Just simply put.
A new recipe.
Maybe that is the argument, is that by seeing somebody who magically turns into a thing, there's like a Disney one too, where somebody turns from a boy into a girl when they're a superhero. It seems like it's happening too often for that to match that 3%, but whatever. It's a weird cartoon. But no weirder than half of the Cartoon Network cartoons I watched when I was a kid, frankly. And like even the Looney Tunes things were always a little weird. That's what they do. They're silly and weird. So no, I have no problem with it. I just don't know if Steven Universe is a big enough game to deserve a video game. And frankly, I don't know if any of them are big enough games. And I assume this is going to heavily either rely on coming out on cell phones or the Switch. And the Switch isn't doing that great that I would trust it to.
Go fish.
So that got me 3 more cards to play. I'll take that. 2 of which I need to play. The other game that they announced is an upcoming cartoon called OK KO Let's Be Heroes. So the game doesn't even have a popular thing. I can way more make sense of them making a Steven Universe game, which people
Just a pinch of
at least know that series and like that series. But to have a game come out before you even know if this cartoon series is going to succeed is probably very THQ like. That being said, I also have to think, is Cartoon Network even that popular these days? And that's the bigger question in my head. Not being a kid anymore, I have to ask myself, do kids watch TV or are they watching Netflix? And if they're watching Netflix, they're probably watching some moderately older cartoons, and they're probably getting a little bit more influenced by their parents' recommendations and and selections. So I don't know if they are watching Cartoon Network. I think more and more it's becoming the case that parents don't have cable or don't have TV at all. And it seems that more and more kids are watching YouTube. And are there cartoon series on YouTube?
Light smiles upon the just.
Like, for real? Is that some... That would have been something I would have been much more supportive of on YouTube Red. Forget scare PewDiePie. PewDiePie has 50 million subscribers. People will watch PewDiePie. For YouTube Red, how about a cartoon of a new series for young kids? The YouTube Kids app is there, but I don't think they get any special like things. I think they're looking at toy unboxings a lot. Ryan's toy review, and I think really young kids are watching the same video of the wheels on the bus over and over again. That is from my personal experience, something I know. But when you start to get to an episodic style cartoon series, I don't think there's things like that are very prevalent or very existent at all on YouTube, and that's kind of a hole that could be filled. I know that there are some animators on YouTube, but they don't get a lot of money because it takes a lot of work, and they release very infrequently. You could look at, for instance, Captain Sparkles is a good example. There's an animator that works with Captain Sparkles that takes footage from Captain Sparkles playing Minecraft and makes an animation, but he can only do it like once a week at most. It's not anywhere enough.
Your soul.
Let's see.
In the light's name.
So, yeah. And then when you also look at Captain Sparkles, you have to realize that he's playing Minecraft, and playing in Minecraft is almost like a cartoon anyways. If only there was a better game than Minecraft where you could make scenes and script out things and act out sections and make it closer to something like Minecraft story mode than just regular Minecraft, where they're often just running around killing each other or trying to accomplish other goals. That might be the next step. There's been some websites and things I know that you could have animations made for you, but they're really ugly looking animations. Hatsune Miku style app, like that's Vocaloid is the name of the app. If that actually worked easily in English, I don't know if they even really sell it in English, and it could do more than just make the characters sing and dance, and it could actually have them like text to speech, and a good text to speech where they sounded very, let's see, have to heal.
Face the light.
Your soul.
So yeah, that would be a great app if somebody could make it, but that also is a very demanding app. One of the things I've noticed as I'm trying my new system of just erasing things as I talk about it, I've managed to erase most of the top and bottom of a story I haven't covered yet. So I need to now talk about that story before I run out of completely erase it. I'll have to be more careful there. We're making progress here. On the Hearthstone, the Command and Conquer creator, Lewis Castle, is going to now head the Amazon Game Studios in Seattle. Now, that's kind of just a big question mark, but an interesting bit of information. Because I don't think Amazon Game Studios has released anything yet. So we don't know really what they're trying to do or what they're trying to have happen. My imagination tells me that they would really love to have something like StarCraft, as big as StarCraft when StarCraft was as big, like Overwatch, as big as Overwatch is now, like League of Legends. They would love to have something like that was totally in their control, that they could stream on Twitch and have tournaments on Twitch to get more Twitch people into Twitch and compare. But even if Twitch failed, they would still have this really popular competitive esports thing. So if Twitch was shut down tomorrow, they could go to YouTube and they still could make a lot of money off of it. They definitely seem like that's what they would probably want to do. And Command and Conquer is a game I would love to go back and cover. I don't know if I can get it all on Steam. I can get Red Alert 3, and I can probably even maybe get Command and Conquer 2, but I don't think Command and Conquer 1 runs, or ever ran. It might have been on consoles only. Last time I looked for it, that seemed to be the case. And I'm not sure it's really worth playing all the Command and Conquer series anyways, because it's a very long strategy game. It's the same problem if I was going to try and cover Diablo, same problem if I was going to try and cover StarCraft. Even rushing just through the single player versions of Command and Conquer would take a long time. But I imagine there's going to be some announcements in the near future, and
You wish to live
that'll be interesting. And one of the things that they have announced already is Twitch is going to release a desktop app. It's in beta right now, and it's going to have chat and video chat between the viewers and private chat between the viewers. And I assume it's going to try and push a lot of people to buy more games. It's probably going to integrate the Twitch game launcher so that as people are buying games, they are also in this app. There are, I imagine, some kind of features you could have in Twitch that you can't easily just implement to a web app, a website, and I could see why they'd want to do that. Streaming video and all of that, you probably with HTML5 could integrate it with some kind of plugin, but just a standalone app probably works better once they start getting there. There is some concern with the video chat and all of that, because what this inherently seems to me like is immediately as this happens, they are going to accidentally become a huge supplier of porn. You
have been measured and found wanting.
Let's go ahead and kill this. And
Not too quickly.
I'm gonna just end my turn there. Because, like, the video chat and the chat options, there's already auto moderation on Twitch, so you can't do just like text sexing and then porn talk, I assume, but you can, if somebody allows it, you can opt out of the auto modding, and so that might become more and more encouraged. Alright, let's do this.
In the light's name.
Hey,
Let's go ahead and kill that guy. So, yeah, with the video chat and private video chat, I imagine you're gonna see a massive increase of people saying, "Hey, PM me, PMV me, or PVM me, like private video message me," and you're gonna see all these icons of women that are stolen off the internet. And, somebody commented on my channel just today with an icon of PewDiePie, and it was called "Your Secret Admirer," and I'm like, yes, PewDiePie is my secret admirer. Alright, so report as spam is what I did. But yeah, they're gonna open up a crazy avenue there, and it's gonna be the Wild West, it seems, for all these chat things and such. But it might also bring in a lot more people who are a lot more interested in things.
Embrace the void. Just a pinch of vigor.
There we go. Moving on. There's no new story missions for year 2 of the Division, just 2 free expansions. So I think we already even talked about that, but that pretty much kind of inherently says that the Division is dead. Another Ubisoft product, For Honor, is already showing signs of being dead. I'm gonna lose here, so I'm gonna go ahead and do all the cards I can. So yeah, the Division is dead, For Honor is dead. Ubisoft, particularly for Honor, didn't have a game there that they could sell, and they desperately threw a lot of advertising and a lot of pushing of paid sponsorship, are tried really hard to get people to play it. But the focus is just for the online, and the single player is not that great, and the main premise is just weak. There's no story there, is the problem. You're playing either a Viking, a Crusader, or a Samurai, and fighting, going through a story where you invade each other's bases, and then that's kind of all you do. And then you're off to online, where you're playing a almost completely different game than the single player mode. And inherently, they probably spent too much time working on the sword swinging engine, and no time whatsoever making an actual story. It's just bad production goals and bad leadership on Ubisoft's part. I would have to blame that one. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.